On this Monday night, as a Toronto neighborhood tries to make sense of a horrific attack, a city questions just how safe it really is. Today, we can put a name and a face to one of those killed. Reese Fallon was just weeks away from starting university. Tonight, we'll cover all we know about the attack that struck her and a young girl down, including the identity of the man who shot them and 13 others.
Also tonight, criminal charges against a well-known Canadian performer. We'll look at the accusations against Jacob Hogarth, lead singer for the band Headley. Reaction tonight from a woman who led the charge. This is The National.
We are here on the Danforth, the Toronto neighborhood that was a shooting gallery last night. And behind me, just across the street, is a small park where a memorial has been set up. It is a busy stretch of road for people who live here and for so many who come from around Toronto to enjoy the area. But here, like so much of the city today, you couldn't get very far without overhearing anxious conversations about last night's gun rampage. During a summer of shooting after shooting, just a few months after that shocking van attack, people here are utterly shaken.
I can tell you that there is a newness to this in Toronto's environment. Other large cities across the world go through this tremendously more than we have.
It began at 10 p.m. in the East Side neighborhood known as Greektown, or simply the Danforth, a vibrant family area that's a destination for dinner, dessert, or a drink on a patio. Witnesses say the shooter zigzagged down the street with a handgun for several blocks before police managed to stop him. He's been identified as 29-year-old Faisal Hussein. Among his 15 victims, 2 are dead, 18-year-old Reese Fallon and a 10-year-old girl. And tonight we have the latest on the attack, the gunman, and reaction from this stunned community. But let's start with the many individuals caught up in last night's gunfire. All kinds of people, all walks of life, and all of them in the wrong place at the wrong time. Jacqueline Hansen takes a look at the victims.
18-year-old Reese Fallon was out for ice cream to celebrate a birthday with a group of young people passionate about politics when she was fatally wounded.
And there was one girl, she just approached me and she got hit from her right arm.
Ali Demir Khan was sitting on a bench having coffee with friends. He believes he was among the last people to see Fallon alive. He tried to help her and call 911, but the shots started again. As he ran, he fell and was grazed by a bullet.
That girl who asked me to help her, she was lying down in front of the one tree there, and she got few hits. The people are trying to help her. They were, doing the CPR, and they were trying to stop the bleeding.
One resident who ran to the scene says she tried to make sure Fallon didn't die alone.
I just told her she's loved. She's so loved. And I just told her I'm not leaving you, and I'm going to stay with you.
Also killed in last night's shooting was a 10-year-old girl. She has not yet been identified. An employee at a local restaurant fears she was the injured girl he was trying to help keep conscious.
Her mom was holding her leg, and I hold her face. I was holding her face, and I was telling her to it's gonna be okay, don't worry, it's gonna be fine. Look at me, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be fine. There's nothing happened. You look at me. Don't lose it, okay?
The 13 others wounded range in age from 10 to 59 years old. Officials say some of the injuries are life-altering. The shooting may have been over quickly, but the recovery for the victims, the families, and the city will take much longer. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
So since last night, we've heard from police and we've heard from witnesses who are talking about what they saw and what they heard. Ron Charles pieces together the attack.
Before the gunshots, sirens, and police tape, Danforth Avenue had been as it always is on warm summer nights, a popular strip of restaurants, cafes, and ice cream shops, a draw for families. The chilling video shows how quickly a gunman can turn a best-loved neighborhood into 5 blocks of carnage.
We were eating and the guy started shooting, and we were sitting actually out on the patio and we heard shots. So we went inside, and then he came in the restaurant. He shot the girl right in front of me.
He also shot at several people at a popular evening gathering place around a fountain in a parkette.
I saw someone with a gun, holding a gun up. It's in black, I'm pretty sure. And then I saw someone just drop to the floor, and as soon as I saw that, I literally just ran.
Catherine Mead returned to the scene today to complete a police report about what she saw while driving along Danforth Avenue.
He ran in front of the car, but then he stopped and raised a gun and started shooting. And so I just saw the first shot, which was, I've never seen a shot before. So it was a flash. And then I just grabbed my partner and I said, duck, and I crouched and sped out.
She says she only learned later the gunman seemed to be shooting indiscriminately at people.
We're extremely grateful that he decided to not go from there to there. We were right there, and my car is a bright car, a colored car. He could have just shooting us.
Nick Balkos captured these images of the gunman on his restaurant's security camera close to where police cornered him.
He walked by the store, ran across the street pointing the gun, and then he shot maybe 8 to 10, it sounded like a whole clip pretty much, and there was like 4 or 5 people in front of the second cop. They ended up kind of scattering. I don't know if he hit 1 or 2 people, and then he was kind of yelling and screaming as he was shooting. It was actually like a video game, like it was happening in real life. It was crazy.
Investigators aren't saying yet either just how Faisal Hussein died.
Police officers located the man on Bowden Avenue, and there was an exchange of gunfire between police and the man. The man fled the scene on foot, and he was located a very short time later on Danforth Avenue, deceased. He had sustained a gunshot wound.
Investigators are still trying to determine a motive for why a pleasant summer evening on a street packed with people turned into this.
It is also unreal. One of the people you talked to described it almost like a video game, but clearly with such deadly and tragic results. And this comes, Ron, as you well know, in a year where there's been so much gun violence.
Yeah, and Toronto, as big a city as it is, the 4th largest in North America, people here just aren't used to the unprecedented number of violent incidents that the city has seen in the past few months. We had that van attack earlier in the spring. 10 people killed, scores injured, and then on the tails of that, we've had this spate of gun violence that has been happening in different neighborhoods all over the city. You've got, they're very different from this event, but still a gun killing people who are, many of them bystanders, obviously, and in some of the other incidents you had, gang violence and settlings of scores. But at the end of the day, they still led to people dying and people being injured, and many of them bystanders.
And there are a lot of people that find it all very unsettling, and it's quite understandable, Ron. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
People have been gathering all day and into the night on the Danforth to honor the victims and to share their grief.
It breaks through any sense of isolation and fear. It breaks through the many ways we're separate and separated.
I mentioned that memorial that was set up at a parkette near where last night's shootings took place, not far from where we are now. A prayer vigil was held at a church close by. The streets here reopened around supper time, and many came together in a show of solidarity and to lend their support. Now, as Ron said, this neighborhood is usually so busy with people enjoying beautiful summer nights like this one, but throughout the day today, the atmosphere on the Danforth was somber, with many sharing the same thought. It so easily could have been them. Let's hear some of those voices from the witnesses.
We were at a restaurant, and my son wanted to play with his friend around the fountain area, and suddenly I heard these noises that sounded like firecrackers. And when everybody was running and screaming and hiding, I knew that it must be a gunman. First reaction was, where is my son? So I saw my son crouching down already at the fountain. He was on one side of the fountain, and the gunman was directly on the other side of the fountain. I noticed the gunman had been walking away. And I thought, well, maybe he might come back. So I pulled my son out of there and I said, let's get out of here. And we ran through the back alley. I felt a bit like crying and that sort of thing, but we needed to answer questions from my wife and son and make them feel safe.
And I saw him, and he was standing like a professional. He went like that, right eye level, and shot right into the restaurant. I saw a young girl in a pool of blood, crying. She was crying for her mother, and like within moments, police were there, and everybody was there, and I was angry. Like, how could you do that to this little girl? Like, don't you have I wanted to run after him and kick him.
And around 10 o'clock we're leaving, and I turned and I even saw the gun going off, and flames coming out. And while the guy who was running beside me, he got a bullet in his back, and he fell between the tables on the patio. I see this lady running by him, by the shooter, and he took 2 steps like a predator animal, just went boom, boom, and shot her while she was down on the floor. I think it was the 18-year-old lady that died at the scene, I still in shock. I still can't believe that really happened, and I'm here talking to you, and why I'm here, why didn't I get hit by a bullet.
There was a joint statement of support today from 3 levels of government. Toronto's Mayor John Tory, Ontario Premier Doug Ford, and Bill Blair, the federal Minister for Border Security and Organized Crime Reduction and a former Toronto Chief of Police. They said, in part, we know that residents are reeling from this shocking attack and are rightly demanding answers. We are confident Toronto Police will fully investigate this heinous attack. We're committed to making sure our 3 governments are working together to protect our residents and to keep our city safe. As for the man police say is responsible, we have more information tonight on 29-year-old Faisal Hussein and the heartbroken family that he's left behind. Vic Adobia tells us what we know about the gunman.
20 blocks north of the Danforth, another investigation is underway on the 7th floor. Toronto police searched the family apartment of Faisal Hussein in Thorncliffe Park, a series of older high-rises, a popular place to settle for new Canadians, especially Pakistanis like the Husseins.
We've learned Faisal Hussein's family is well known in Thorncliffe Park's Muslim community. His father helped establish the nearby mosque, but his father has cancer. One of his brothers is in a coma, and his sister was killed in a car accident a decade ago.
They are very good people. They are very good people, and it is really very shocking for me.
This man lives on the same floor as Hussein's family and knows the parents well, as do many of the tenants, but he only sees Faisal once in a while.
Once a month, I just see him walking. He's very, very simple and very, humble person. I don't understand.
Faisal Hussein's friend says he'd been struggling with mental health problems for years.
But he kept to himself. He was quiet, never hurt anyone. I've never seen him get into a fight with anyone.
The family confirmed this today in a statement. They say, "We are utterly devastated by the incomprehensible news that our son was responsible for the senseless violence and loss of life, and that Faisal had severe mental health challenges, struggling with psychosis and depression his entire life. The interventions of professionals were unsuccessful, medications and therapies were unable to treat him, and that they did their best to seek help for him throughout his life of struggle and pain." They end by saying their hearts are in pieces for the victims and for our city as we all come to grips with this terrible tragedy.
And Vic joins us now. The family and friends seem shocked that this happened. They point to the possibility of mental illness, but still there's some pretty tough questions about what led to last night's shooting.
Exactly, such as why did he seem so comfortable handling that weapon? Witnesses say that he quickly was able to change the clip to keep firing. And of course, there's the question, how did he obtain a restricted weapon in the first place? Did he purchase it in Canada? Was it brought in overseas? Was it smuggled? Was it stolen? So we may get some of those answers in the coming days.
Well, that gun has been recovered, so there should be information about that at some point we will find out about. Vic, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now, when we got here earlier in the day, this area of the Danforth was still locked down, and as you can see, the police presence remains very strong. They are still partially restricting traffic, keeping things pretty contained. So how are people doing a day after the shooting? Well, earlier today, I spoke with residents about the impact this has had on the community. There was a quiet resilience in the Danforth today.
I've traveled a lot. I've been in a lot of cities in the world. There's crime everywhere. There's strange occurrences of things, events. So yeah, you don't like them to happen, but it's life, I guess.
You seem very, very matter-of-fact about it.
No. I mean, I didn't sleep too well last night. I was very concerned about the injured people, particularly, you know, there's an 18-year-old girl killed and a 10-year-old passed away. That's horrible.
You could hear that sense of unease up and down the street, even on the sidewalk patios.
And I ran into a friend, so we just were able to talk things through, which feels good.
What did you need to talk about?
Just I guess that these things happen, you know, whether it be here or elsewhere, that it's terrible.
By 5:30, the street reopened. Some tables still not cleared from the panic of the night before. Many restaurants still closed. Take a look at this and tell me, what do you think of the Danforth tonight?
I think it's something that's going to be in everyone's minds for a long time. But like I said, I don't think it's going to hamper the future.
And so optimism and community. Esther Lee's mother owns this dry cleaning business. The couple who sold it to her have come to help because Lee's mother and brother were shot last night. How do you feel about walking back down the street again?
I mean, today morning I saw the police tapes and it's scary. It's scary. This is my mom's home, so this is my very home. This is where I come home to for the holidays, to see my family, so it's upsetting to see something happen so close to home. But, Toronto is resilient, and we always, criticize the states for their lax gun control, and I think this kind of brings home how much more we have to do to keep our community safe.
Just one more sign of how this shooting has brought a neighborhood even closer together. So think about that for a moment. That couple comforting Esther there. They are the people, as I mentioned, who used to own that dry cleaning business. And as soon as they heard about the shooting, they came back to the shop and they have vowed to keep it open while the new owner is convalescing. She was shot through and through, as her daughter says. The bullet went through her body but didn't hit any vital organs. And so she is recovering physically but mentally still having a hard time. Andrew, 27 people have died in shooting incidents across the country so far this year, and we will be keeping an eye on any further developments on this shooting from here on the Danforth.
Indeed, and there are a number of other stories we are watching tonight. One of them, a man arrested on Parliament Hill during today's changing of the guard ceremony. According to the witness who took this video of the arrest, the man jumped over the rope meant to keep crowds back and tried to get to a guard with the Parliamentary Protection Service. Initially, officials said he had a knife, but they've since clarified. They now say a small pocket knife was found near where he was arrested. The man's name is Jesse Mooney, according to police, 24 years old, and now charged with assault and breach of probation. Here's a bird's eye view of one of several wildfires burning today in BC's Okanagan region. It's been a good weekend, cooler weather, and crews say they've made progress in fighting some fires back. But dozens of people are still out of their homes, and with hot temperatures and potential lightning in the forecast, which is a big driver of new fires, officials are warning people this week things can still get worse. And we are also keeping an eye tonight on the wildfire situation in northern Ontario. As of tonight, a total of 60 forest fires are burning in the northeast part of the province, and almost half, 28 of those, are considered out of control. Fire crews from the U.S. and Mexico have been called in to help those already on the ground, and tough conditions are in store. Thunderstorms are a risk all week, and cooler temperatures aren't expected until Friday. Still ahead on The National. The lead singer of the band, Headley, has been arrested on sexual assault charges. One of Jacob Hogarth's alleged victims first came forward to CBC News. Plus, we are learning more today about why the window to rescue the white helmets from Syria narrowed so suddenly this weekend.
And rallying behind the neighborhood where the deadly Toronto shooting occurred, people are illustrating what the Danforth means to them.
The sidewalks belong to everybody. Like, we're citizens. We want the City of Toronto to bring chalk and goodwill and come and make a contribution.
Just 5 months ago, Jacob Hogarth was on a roll. His band, Headley, was on tour across Canada. They were set to perform at the Junos, and they were up for 4 awards. But then came allegations of sexual misconduct against Hogarth, some of them first reported by CBC News. Headley's agent and management cut ties. Radio networks stopped playing their music, and the band was cut from the Junos. And today, a new low. Hogarth turned himself in to Toronto police, facing 3 sex-related charges. The CBC's Judy Trinh was the first to break parts of this story, and she speaks once again to one of the alleged victims.
It doesn't feel like he's actually being celebrated for once in a photo.
It has been 5 months since the Ottawa woman came forward to CBC News with her story of rape, and now she's holding the alleged perpetrator's mugshot in her hands.
It's kind of nice to see him looking vulnerable and scared.
Toronto police have accused the Headley frontman of sexually assaulting 2 women in 2016. Jacob Hogarth faces 2 counts of sexual assault causing bodily harm and 1 count of sexual interference. That latter charge is only laid when the victim is under the age of 16. CBC News does not know the identity of the alleged teenage victim, but we can confirm that a 25-year-old former Algonquin College student is linked to one of the charges. When investigators called her this morning to tell her about Hogarth's arrest, she cried.
I just feel like maybe some sort of justice is going to prevail, regardless of whether or not he's actually convicted or any of that. There's at least something. Like, people actually believe you.
On social media, dozens of women accused the lead singer of sexual misconduct. And as the band's tour continued, much of the music industry pulled away. In February, the Ottawa woman accused Hogarth of demeaning, choking, and raping her at a Toronto hotel. Hogarth denied the allegations and said the sex was consensual. After her story was published, the band announced it would go on indefinite hiatus.
The reason I did this was to help other women and make them feel like they can speak out against him or anyone else.
Police released this mugshot and say they're concerned there may be other victims. Judy Trinh, CBC News, Ottawa.
Still ahead on The National, Donald Trump tweeted fiery words for the Iranian president, in all caps, no less. But there are questions about whether he's trying to change the narrative after his meeting in Helsinki with Russia's Vladimir Putin. Plus, we will introduce you to a 23-year-old business grad who's about to become one of the first people in Canada to sell recreational marijuana legally.
I'm telling people that are asking me, what am I going to do with my life when I'm done school? And I say, I think I'm going to open up a marijuana dispensary. Not everybody likes that answer.
Even by his own standards, it was an alarming message from Donald Trump. The U.S. president sent a tweet last night warning Iran to be cautious or suffer severe consequences. Was it a serious threat or an attempt to distract? The CBC's Paul Hunter looked into it for us.
Mr. President, Jimmy Houston, I like your hair. How are you? I like yours.
On a day aimed at promoting goods made in the USA.
I like that.
From pickup trucks to motorhomes to rocket ships.
Space Force.
And beyond, the question for Donald Trump was on that tweet and whether he has any concerns about provoking Iran.
None at all. Not at all.
Reporters chased after him, but he said no more. Trump's tweet to Iranian President Hassan Rouhani late last night in all caps. Never ever threaten the United States again, or you will suffer consequences the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. Labeling Rouhani's words demented, Trump added, "Be cautious." Rouhani himself had earlier said hardened U.S. policies toward Iran could lead to, quote, the mother of all wars. Don't play with the lion's tail, he said yesterday. You will forever regret it. Iran has said such stuff before, but U.S.-Iranian relations have been extra strained ever since Trump pulled the U.S. out of the so-called Iran deal, aimed at curbing Iran's nuclear ambitions. With U.S. sanctions against Iran set to soon restart, the U.S. has lately upped its rhetoric against the Iranian leadership.
The level of corruption and wealth among Iranian leaders shows that Iran is run by something that resembles the mafia more than a government.
But it's Trump's tweet that has the world talking. Fighting words? Or is the real goal, in fact, as some have suggested, mere distraction? After all, it comes as Trump continues to take heat for last week kowtowing to Vladimir Putin. Not known for enjoying criticism, some wonder, is the tweet in fact aimed at simply changing the headlines?
No, I think the president has the ability, unlike a lot of those in the media, to actually focus on more than one issue at a time.
Iran itself weighed in on Trump's tweet today. The foreign minister saying in a tweet, "Color us unimpressed." Then aiming his words straight at Trump, mimicking the president, using Trump's own words, he added, "Be cautious," in all caps. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
Now, another developing story we are tracking out of Washington tonight involves the president threatening to retaliate against several of his high-profile critics.
Not only is the president looking to take away Brennan's security clearance, he's also looking into the clearances of Comey, Clapper, Hayden, Rice, and McCabe.
As you heard, the president is considering revoking the security clearances of several former top officials. Sarah Sanders mentions a few of them by name. Trump reportedly thinks they've misused their access, profited from it, to make accusations against him. But while it's not unusual for former top officials to keep their security clearances so they can still consult or advise, we should mention two of the people Sanders mentioned, James Comey and Andrew McCabe, don't actually still have the clearance she's talking about. And a development tonight on North Korea and its pledge to work towards denuclearization. A U.S. monitoring group says it's analyzed satellite imagery, and it appears the North has begun dismantling part of a key rocket launch site. Officials think it's played a major role in the development of North Korea's ballistic missile program. 422 Syrian rescue workers and their families are in Amman tonight, waiting to come to Canada, the UK, and Germany. They are the White Helmets, a task force of volunteers from all walks of life who've primarily been working to rescue people from war zones. But it was they themselves who needed saving, spirited out of Syria through Israel Saturday night in a dramatic moonlit rescue. Susan Ormiston joins us now from London with more on that. So, Susan, what was the urgency, first of all, to get them out over the weekend?
Well, the situation on the ground in southwest Syria was deteriorating. There had been discussions for about 10 days on helping the White Helmets, but the timing just became more urgent. We spoke today with James Lemessurier of MaydayRescue.org. He is in the region and he's close to the White Helmets and the crisis group which arranged this covert mission.
The situation was moving very, very rapidly. It was identified that there was a very small window, a narrow window of hope where it might just be possible to be able to evacuate a number of the White Helmets. In the hours running up to when the rescue operation took place, the biggest threat was actually not from the regime or from Russia, but from the Islamic State forces who had moved into the vacuum. They risked blocking the evacuation routes of White Helmets.
As well, there were Syrian government forces in the area. They were closing in. There were airstrikes. They had to move, and so the decision was taken.
And why were these Syrians helped out by the international community when so many other Syrians are desperate to get out?
As rebel forces have been defeated in the south, some opposition groups and their families have been allowed to evacuate and relocate to areas still under rebel control in the north. So buses were departing on the weekend filled with families caught up in the fighting. But we're told that the Syrian government refuses passage to White Helmets, whom they consider combatants not neutral and connected to jihadist groups. And the Syrian government today called the evacuation, quote, a criminal operation by Israel and its tools. And that's according to Syrian state TV.
And so, Susan, what happens to them now?
They are in Amman in a secure place, beginning to make their way through the pre-screening requirements for coming to Canada and the other countries. We are told they will not get fast-tracked or get special expedited treatment, but we haven't been able to verify that with Canadian officials. And there are others still inside. Sources have told the CBC only one of 3 groups originally slated to leave did get through. Some others were blocked getting to the assembly points.
There continue to be white helmets in southern Syria. I'm sure you'll understand if we don't go into details around numbers and where they may be. But our team, supported by many others, continue to have their safety at the forefront of our minds, and we are doing everything that we can to get them and their families to a place of safety.
We understand that Jordan, already bursting with Syrian refugees, agreed to take in this group only with a guarantee from Canada and other countries that they would resettle them.
Okay, Susan, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
And we will be right back right after the break. But a reminder, you can always find poignant, powerful photos on our Instagram page. Today, you'll see the ways people are paying tribute to those killed in last night's shooting in Toronto. That's at CBC The National. As the federal government prepares to legalize recreational marijuana, provinces have been busy deciding who will be allowed to sell it. And in Saskatchewan, where licenses were awarded through a lottery system, a young entrepreneur is entering the scene. She's got quite the story, and our Nick Purdon went to hear all about it.
I went into shock, like, straight up. I just was completely, I just really thought I was dreaming. Like, I actually pinched my arm, like, really hard, because I'm like, there's no way.
You might react like that, too, if you got one of the licenses to sell recreational pot in your hometown. I mean, 1,500 people applied for licenses across Saskatchewan. And Sierra Sieben-Chubak was one of only 7 who met the criteria to set up shop in Saskatoon this fall. So at 23, Sierra is a trailblazer.
Telling people that are asking me, what am I going to do with my life when I'm done school? And I say, I think I'm going to open up a marijuana dispensary. Like, a lot of people just sort of looked down on me for even saying that and just sort of rolled their eyes, because to them, they're like, this girl literally has no chance. Like, you go for it, kid, but there's no way.
I mean, you can't really blame people for reacting that way. Sierra only just graduated from university. She's never run a business, and yet here she is about to open her own store. And this is marijuana we're talking about, perhaps the next billion-dollar industry. The question is, how is a 23-year-old going to survive in the high-stakes competitive world of selling legal pot?
The amount of work that's gone into this car, it's definitely a sellable car. And it's very rare, a convertible.
The first thing Sierra has going for her is her dad.
Proper hood and stuff on it.
If she's going to make it work, it'll be in part because Glenn Chubak has been in business since he was 15.
I wasn't even old enough to drive yet. I bought this car for $45, and I did the body work on it. I did the interior in it, etc. And a guy came and offered me $900 for this car. And it was like when you're 15 years old, and all of a sudden, that is so much money. Like, it was like amazing. And that's where I kind of realized, you know what? I think I'm going down the right path here.
And that Nissan's done.
That made making money look so easy that Glenn dropped out of school and he opened an auto body shop. Of course, he quickly learned how hard it is to run your own business.
My first body shop, when I first opened up, I used to sleep on a car seat in the office because it wasn't worth driving home a half an hour to come back a half an hour, because it was already 2, 3 in the morning. And you'd have to open up at 8.
Sierra grew up listening to her dad's stories, so I guess it's no wonder she decided to start a business of her own. But selling marijuana?
I remember we were sitting at our kitchen table, and I was like, Dad, there's this thing I want to do. And I don't know if you're going to be really excited about it, but just have an open mind and like listen to me for a second. So at first he was super skeptical, and he was like, so you want to sell dope? Is that what you're telling me? I'm like, essentially that's what I'm telling you, but legally. And he said, you know what, like I totally support you in that. And so getting his approval pushed me into like going all in. I'm doing it.
The other thing about Sierra is that her interest in marijuana is deeply personal. That started a few years ago when her life took a serious turn.
How it all started, one day, I was extremely sore. It literally felt like I got hit by a bus or something, like out of nowhere. And I'm a pretty healthy person, and I was 21 at the time, so it was super weird to me to be in such bad pain, just from my head to my toes.
Sierra spent a week in hospital and was eventually diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis.
You know how they say if you have a cold, you shouldn't Google it? Basically, I Googled rheumatoid arthritis and just saw what came up, and what I saw online really scared me. Disfigured hands and feet, and people would end up being in wheelchairs and lose your mobility, essentially. And that's really, really scary.
The other thing Sierra discovered online was that lots of people with autoimmune diseases, like rheumatoid arthritis, use medical marijuana to help them.
I was just reading through people's testimonies about how and what they experienced using different types of marijuana products. And I thought, if these people can attain this result, why can't I? And so I ended up having a good experience with it in regards to managing my pain. And that was like my inspiration to get involved in this industry.
To me, that's be nice on a white t-shirt or something because it's got some color.
So Sierra believes her business will work because she truly believes in the product. Though with pot set to become legal in just a few months, belief only gets you so far.
Yeah.
You know, that one actually isn't too bad.
I kind of like that because it makes it's not green.
Sierra has a million things to do, like picking a logo with her dad.
Yeah, because I feel like it's representative of the words Living Skies.
But it doesn't represent your name at all. Cannabis is overpowering your name, Living Skies.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
It's pretty obvious that Sierra and her dad don't always see eye to eye. After all, he's self-made, he's hands-on, and she just graduated from business school.
Yeah, of course.
In fact, Sierra's first stab at a business plan based on selling marijuana was at school.
Hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good to see you.
In Lee Swanson's entrepreneur class at the University of Saskatchewan.
I know. Who would have thought, right?
Truth is, that didn't start very well. Lee almost failed her. But with his help, she worked on the idea, and now, even though she's graduated, he's helping her in any way he can.
Are you kind of working on your business plan some too, or it's probably not really?
I'm working more so just on pieces of it. It's not.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be exactly what we did in our class with.
So having Lee on her side is another reason Sierra has a shot to make her business work. Still, he acknowledges it won't be easy.
And then I was able to.
Business like this is going to attract lots of big competitors. I think people are seeing the potential with this, and so it's tough to be in retail in the first place. And this is going to be one tough area.
Do you think you'll ever go in and buy some of her product?
Good question. Probably not, but that's, oh geez, I'm not sure how to answer this one. That's a good question.
I mean, the fact that Lee isn't comfortable answering says a lot about the stigma that still clouds marijuana. And that's another of Sierra's challenges.
I feel like marijuana in general shouldn't be such a taboo subject. We need to educate people about it because I feel like a lot of people have negative opinions about it. And by having this business, I can work to change people's minds about it. I'm not saying that everyone needs to come in and buy my product, but just to be more accepting of it overall.
Of course, you can't do all that if your store isn't up and running. Right now, we'll take a look. It's just an empty room.
Oh, I just love this space. Every time I come in here, I still like it so much. It's got so much potential.
Yeah.
It's going to be really nice.
Yeah.
Dad's not just here as dad, he's also overseeing the renovation.
And you know what? Your office, I mean, that's just, I wish I had an office when I started like that.
But this isn't like when Dad was starting out at all. I mean, this is marijuana we're talking about. Nobody has ever legally sold recreational pot in Canada before.
Do you worry about her? Is there anything?
Of course I do.
What do you worry about?
The type of business she's in, you know?
What about it? What do you mean?
She's selling pot, you know?
So you're more so just worried about like my safety and all of this in this industry. I'll be okay, Dad.
I mean, you have to be, right?
Yeah.
This is what you want.
What's it like working so closely with your dad? Is it ever too much? Do you ever want to punch him? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, who ever sees eye to eye with their dad on everything, you know? This is not easy. It's not always easy working with your family on things, but it's also nice to work with your family on things because you know at the end of the day they're going to love you no matter what.
And, you know, I'm really glad I can do this with her. So many people can't do this with their daughters. You know, so at the end of the day, when it's all said and done,
we got it.
Sierra and her dad are in uncharted territory. Who knows if they'll be successful? But then again, maybe they already are.
I love you.
Nick Purdon, CBC News, Saskatoon.
So the date on Sierra and her dad's calendar, October 17th. That's when recreational pot goes legal across the country. And that's really just the beginning of a whole new chapter, well beyond Sierra's story, because there's still questions about enforcement, like the ability of police to spot impaired drivers, and also concerns about crossing the border into the U.S. Okay, our moment of the day is next. And let me tell you, after last night's shooting, people who live in and around the Danforth in Toronto are looking for the positive. And some of the stories that they have to share, calling that neighborhood home, are pretty uplifting.
Thanks to the kindness of a complete stranger who just jumped into action and started doing CPR on an 86-year-old woman lying in the middle of a courtyard that he didn't know. She survived.
What's Netflix and that chill?
Sex.
How you know that?
Everybody know that.
I don't know that.
You is old. Young people talk. I listen, I learn. And I told her.
Just before we go, I want to show you a little bit of a look of what's behind us here. The Alexander the Great Parquet is where there is a memorial. People have been coming here throughout the day and into the evening now. A memorial for the 2 people who were killed, the 13 others injured. We do know the identity of the 18-year-old who was killed, Reese Fallon. 10-year-old girl also died. Her identity has not been made public. And the gunman, Faisal Hussein. So much has happened here over the last 24 hours. Let's take a quick look back.
I just started to hear like bang, 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 like super close. I saw someone with a gun holding a gun up, and then I saw someone just drop to the floor. And as soon as I saw that, I literally just ran.
We are all devastated. We are very worried. Nothing's gonna be the same from now on.
I'm walking and I'm all goosebumps and I'm sentimental, I'm overwhelmed.
Our entire city has been shocked by this cowardly act of violence. As I said earlier this morning at the scene, I'm of course angry, as we all are, that someone would carry out such an attack, which really amounts to an attack on our city itself.
The thoughts of our entire province and country are with them and their families right now.
We're going to keep strong and not let this affect us in any way, shape, or form.
Tonight, the Toronto Blue Jays organization, the Minnesota Twins, all of Major League Baseball, stand Toronto strong.
She was my best friend for a really long time, and we used to play together all the time, and she really didn't deserve this. She was so lean. She just got into college for being a nurse, and she just wanted to help people. She really didn't deserve to die like this.
We are all going to just take care of our neighborhood, take care of our families, take care of our children to make sure that
everyone feel safe.
Making sure that we take back the street and let people know that it's ours and it's safe.
Today in a nearby park, not far from where I'm standing, people wrote messages of hope in chalk. Toronto the good, Danforth strong, love equals courage. And these messages were echoed on social media. We asked people to share their stories about why they love the Danforth, and that is our moment of the day.
We love the Danforth because of the people that we meet.
It's our city and we're taking it back.
We need to reclaim the space that I think it feels violated. This park on a day like today would be full of people, and there's nobody out. I think people are kind of in shock.
It breaks my heart that so many people who have beautiful, beautiful memories of life on this street, because that's really what this street means, is life, are going to have their views tarnished.
We went to Starbucks like we usually do, and we got in line. We got up to the counter, and the barista, Rocky, said your drink is paid for. Some man bought a card for $100, a gift card, and said just use it till it runs out.
Back in 2002, my then 86-year-old grandmother was walking up to Albany Clinic. She collapsed in front of the big carrot, and thanks to the kindness of a complete stranger who just jumped into action and started doing CPR, she survived.
I think the message here is Toronto the good has always been Toronto the good.
It was pretty inspiring.
This is my Danforth.
Well, Ian, I'm sure on a day like today, any positive news is welcome news, but you have spent much of today talking to folks on the ground about how they're feeling.
You know, Andrew, it's interesting. You get thrust into these situations. You suddenly find yourself in a neighborhood that's in the midst of a crisis, whether it's Parkland, Florida, or Humboldt, Saskatchewan, or North York in Toronto, and here we are in the Danforth, and I didn't quite know what to expect. I've been here since early afternoon, and I'll tell you, one person that I spoke to was really angry about the gunman, about his motives. Other than that, there certainly was a sense of unease. There certainly was a sense of sadness, and although resilience may sound like an overused word, I got to tell you, it's a word that people here themselves were using. It's not back to normal yet, not tonight, but everybody expects it will be soon. That is the National for July 23rd. Good night.
Good night.